I hate to say that because you don't want to see anyone get hurt, but
Right.
I don't look at this as the most awful injury possible, if that makes sense.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm one of your hosts, Stacey. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. With me, as usual, is my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, we thought we weren't going to have things really to talk about on the show, and then the baseball gods were like, suckers.
Here's some news. Open day of content today. No game today, so open day, but a tough week coming ahead for the Yankees.
Yep. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when they go live. Coming up on today's show, Yankees are facing off against the Orioles, but it's going to look a lot different on Wednesday. We take a look around the league, more specifically at the wild card standings, because the NL wild card is truly wild. But first, a little bit of good news, bad news for the Yankees.
Yeah, give and take, right? I don't know if you look at the bad news as bad as it actually is. Maybe the guy that got hurt actually needs a rest, but if you weren't aware, it did just come out. Anthony Rizzo is going to be expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks with a fractured forearm. The fall did look messy. It did look bad. It wasn't exactly playing that well to begin with, and I think this opens up the lineup a little bit. So I hate to say that because you don't want to see anyone get hurt, but
Right.
I don't look at this as the most awful injury possible, if that makes sense.
Right. I just feel bad because he wasn't hitting as badly as he was in May. He was getting more hits in June than he was in May. Like he was starting to do a little bit of something, and
better, still not great.
Right, but better. And then this happens to him. So that kind of stinks for him. You know, it's just another one of those fluky injuries at first base. This time he was the one running to first base. So just
it's kind of, I'm assuming you're going to see LeMahieu playing majority of the snaps at first base now.
Yeah. So it looks to be DJ at first, Oswaldo is at third, which isn't terrible. It's not a terrible solution to the Rizzo thing, because then that means maybe if DJ has more reps, maybe he can start hitting a little better.
And I think if anything too, it gives you a reason to go make a move. Like maybe they do go make a trade they were debating on making, and now they make the trade, and who knows, the guy they get can give you a spark. So you just gotta feel it out,
Right.
Other news though.
Wait, hold on. The only thing I'm afraid of, because it's 4 to 6 weeks, I don't want to hear this whole, oh, well, we're getting Anthony Rizzo back. It's like making a trade. BS that they like to say. So I'm hoping that this kind of lights a fire under their rear ends to say, hey, maybe we do need to make a move. Maybe we have to think about first base, because this is his last year, So we'll see what happens. And yes, what's the other news?
The other news is Wednesday, you're going to see Gerrit Cole back in the lineup. And I don't know what Yankee fan is not ultra excited about seeing this. He dominated towards the end of his spring training. I guess spring training, if you want to count towards his minor league rehab assignments, that really is his spring training. Was dominant, looked great. You're going to see him back. Stacey, what are you expecting out of him in his first start? Tough team to come back against.
Yes. I don't know what to expect. I don't expect vintage Gerrit Cole going 7 innings and, only giving up like maybe 1 run and striking out 10. Like, I'm not expecting that. I'm also not expecting him to look bad either. I just don't want people's expectations to be too high, because that would just be kind of silly. Like, you have to give him a little bit of grace in his first at least 2 starts, because this is uncharted territory for him, making his first start in the middle, almost end of June. Just, it's kind of odd. So like you said, he was picking things up toward the end of the rehab stints that he was making and looking stronger, striking out more. I understand it was AAA, but still the numbers looked better toward the end, and he looked stronger, and he was throwing harder. And, as long as he feels fine after he throws, everything's good.
Yeah, I think you'll see probably about 75 to 80 pitches. They're not going to throw him 110 pitches in this start. He's not going to go 9 innings. He'll probably go 5, maybe 6. That's it. They're not going to let him push himself, but getting him back in the rotation is huge, right? Just getting him back to starting his season. And if you want to look at this as a positive, I mean, it would be at this point stunning if they missed the playoffs somehow. But if when they make the playoffs and he's pitching in the postseason, he's going to be a fresher arm than most of the arms they'll face, because he does have 2 months of less innings, 2.5 months of less innings on him. So there's that positive. And I think also positive, you're getting Gerrit Cole back a lot sooner than I think a lot of people thought. I thought after the All-Star break, I thought like right after the break, he'd be back. I thought maybe early July at the best. He's coming back mid-June. He's going to get 3 or 4 starts before the All-Star break. So you're really getting a really good sense of getting him back. He'll be at full strength by the time the All-Star break's over. He'll be at full strength because he'll start 3 or 4 times. He'll throw a simulated game during the All-Star break, but he'll be full strength by the time the All-Star break's over. And then you get him for the second half of July, August, and September. So you're getting 2.5 months of him playing. I mean, that's really solid amount where he's going to be worked up fully, and he's going to have 2.5 months of no baseball on his arm going into the postseason. So he'll be as if he's in mid-July or August in a normal season at the start of the postseason, which is a huge benefit to the Yankees because he'll be more fresh. His arm won't hurt. He won't have that shoulder pain. So, that's a huge benefit to them. There's that classic saying that once you get to the postseason, everybody's a little injured, right? So everyone's got some nagging thing, something going on. He won't have that. Hopefully. So the team they're facing, but the team they're facing will have that, and the Yankees will have that on their team, but he won't have that, and that's a huge plus to the Yankees.
And just having him back is huge. The fact that they've started off as well as they have, we've said it 18 billion times since the season started.
But it stands true.
But the fact that the rotation is done as well as they've done, and the team has done as well as they've done without him, because that's a big, when that first happened, when was that? March, what was the date? March 11th, I think, was when the news came out that his elbow was bothering him. And at first, you hear elbow and you're like, oh no. And then when you hear he's going out to see Dr. Elatrach, you're like, oh no, because he's one of the premier Tommy John surgeons. And it was just like a nightmare scenario for Yankee fans for those few days that we didn't really know what was going on. And then when
I thought the season was over.
Oh yeah.
I thought the season was over. I thought because my opinion was, and I still feel this way, they're not winning the World Series without Gerrit Cole. They don't have a chance of winning the World Series without an ace. And I thought him being done for the year was them being done for the year. That was like, I thought they went as far as he went. And I think it still stands true. And that's what makes it amazing about him coming back, because I thought he was done for the year. I thought that's the same path every pitcher seems to be on, right? Shoulder pain, elbow discomfort, flies to LA to see Dr. Elatrach, and then he's done for the year. That's seeming to be the path that every pitcher is on. And you saw the month prior, Sandy Alcantara, the exact same thing happened to him, and he went on that same path. And he wound up getting Tommy John for the rest of the year. So it was kind of scaring me that I thought it was a fait accompli. It was inevitable that Gerrit Cole was going to need Tommy John surgery, and then you turn around, it was just discomfort, it was just swelling. He went through the rehab, he got back in time, and now he's back early. So we'll see. Again, coming back against the Orioles is tough. The Orioles are really good, and this is a big time series. If you look online, you can tell it's a big time series because if you look online, look at the ticket prices for a series that's a Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday. Not exactly marquee games that people are going to. Bleacher seats are costing you $80-$90. If that doesn't tell you this is a big series, I don't know what does. It's as big of a series as you're going to find in June.
Right. I'm just excited to have him back. I'm sure the guys are excited to have him back as an actual player, because he was around and he was like the de facto assistant pitching coach and was helping the rotation, which he would have done anyway, even if he was pitching every 5 days.
Not the same, though.
But it's not the same. It's just knowing that Gerrit Cole's back in the rotation is such a boost for this team. It's unbelievably amazing. And, Heel has him there now full time, his professor, his teacher. So this is a very good thing.
It takes pressure off the whole rotation, right? Because now Stroman like moves down to the 3 or the 4. It's all of it just slides down, and these guys have less. Stroman doesn't need to be your 2, right? And Stroman became their 3 because of how good Rodon's been. But now Rodon's your 3, Stroman's your 4. Nestor, all he has to do is be Nestor and be your 5. Like that's all he has. So your rotation it takes a lot of pressure off a lot of the guys too, because especially too, they go on a losing streak. Gerrit Cole's there to stop it. He's the stopgap. Like, you have that on the back end. It does so much more than just, yes, having him back at his level of talent is amazing. That speaks for itself. But having him back and having what he does for the rest of the team in the rotation, that's unspoken for, and that's huge.
Yep. All right. So that's the news for the Yankees. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. You can also reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. We do it every week, and it's a lot of fun. Or you can join the Locked On Insiders Club. I texted you all twice today, once with the Gerrit Cole news and then with the unfortunate Anthony Rizzo news. You get other perks with the Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. There's a 14-day free trial. It's a lot of fun. Coming up, we're going to look around the league and specifically at the wild card standings because they are wild. If you're looking for tickets for just about anything, check out the app Game Time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and shows near you. The Yankees are home this week and this weekend, and Game Time has deals on tickets right up to moments before your event starts and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats, so if you decide to go to Yankee Stadium at 7:15 for a 7:05 start, you can get tickets. Right now, you can get tickets for Gerrit Cole's first start in 2024. The lowest price I saw was $37, so get on there quick. You can also find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today and get $20 off your first purchase with the code LOCKEDONMLB. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by Supply House. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM. You can order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So, let's take a look around the wild card standings and just talk about general baseball stuff too, because we're 2.5 months into the season and some interesting things are happening around baseball. The most interesting still, I think, the Houston Astros sitting at 33-39. I'm still shocked that they haven't yet turned things around.
Towards the end of May, they got a little hot, and then they've cooled off since. Very strange. I don't think the starting pitching's there for them. Clearly, the offense isn't there, and Jose Abreu getting cut now that killed them because he was a huge part of their offense, and he just, as his career's over essentially. They sent him down to Single A, and he couldn't hold
it together. And that was a big deal.
And they cut him. I mean, he had 3 years and about $70 million left on his deal, and they just said, "We'll pay you to go away."
Yeah, like a lot of teams don't do that. That is like when they sent him down to the level they sent him to, I was like, whoa, because you don't see that ever.
No,
and then for them to just be like, bye, that was really, that was actually incredible. I was shocked.
I think the first wild card spot in the American League is locked up. It's either the Orioles or the Yankees who are keeping that spot. No one's taking that spot. That's going to sit right there. What's interesting to me is the last two spots. I don't think the Orioles are going anywhere. I mean, the Royals. I don't think the Royals are going anywhere. I think the Royals are genuinely good. I think their starting pitching is really good. I think their offense is really good. I think they're gonna sit around that record all year, about 10 games over 500 all year. But I think they're probably finishing about 90 wins. They'll be a really good team this year. What's interesting to me is what happens to that third spot, because the Red Sox are 3 games back of the Twins. They're creeping up. I don't think the Twins are that good, to be honest with you. They've been okay, but they haven't been great. And I mean, the Blue Jays have heated up. They're back to 500. They've looked better of late. They've gotten, better than they started. The Tigers are young and good. What's shocking to me is how bad Tampa's been. Tampa and Texas. Both of those teams have not been very good this year, and that's shocking to me because Tampa seems to always figure it out every year, and maybe this is the first year that domino kind of fell. But Texas is a dark horse, too, to see how they perform, because once they get DeGrom back and once they get Scherzer back, they could be a team, too, that, you don't want to mess with. So a lot of interesting storylines in the AL. I think the NL is more interesting, but a lot of really good storylines in the AL. You could see one of these teams easily making a run in the postseason, even though they're wild card spots.
Right. I also think that, like right now, as we're recording this, we'll pull the curtain back. It's 8:32 p.m. Eastern, and the last I checked, the Blue Jays were beating the Red Sox 4-1. And we'll show you right now. Here you go. Look at that.
It's tight.
It is really tight. Not as tight as the NL, which we'll get to in a moment. But if you look at these standings, some of these teams you expected to be, I would have expected Houston, Texas, and Tampa to be ahead of Boston, Toronto, and the Tigers. Maybe Toronto being on the low end of those 3 teams. And then, you know what I mean? It's really interesting.
I don't think anyone also saw Kansas City being this good. I think people saw Kansas City maybe being as good as Detroit is right now. Like 3 games under 500, solid, putting it together, but not really there yet. Yeah. It feels like Kansas City's arrived. Like they're going to be buyers at the deadline, and we haven't seen that in a while. These other teams, I think the Red Sox are probably sellers at the deadline. I think the Rays, they'll be sellers for guys that are superstars in 2 years. And I think the Rangers are going to be buyers, actually. The talent's there. The World Series caliber's team is there, and you're getting DeGrom and Scherzer back. I think there's a chance to be a buyer there. So this could look very different come mid-August. But the AL is certainly intriguing. The NL is way more intriguing, though, to me.
Okay, so we're going to put the NL image up for the YouTube viewers. And for the people who aren't watching on YouTube, come over to YouTube and watch this, because you're going to, this is unreal. It's
remarkable.
That's what it is. It's remarkable. So you have the whole wildcard standings for the NL. They're all within a game and a half of each other.
Now, I don't think, I think the 2 teams that you won't see go anywhere are Philly and the Dodgers. Right. They're going to be there all year. Yeah. Milwaukee could easily fall off. Their starting pitching's not really there. Their bullpen's not terrific. I love Milwaukee as a team. I love their lineup, but that's a team, they falter at times throughout the years. So I could see them falling off. Atlanta, I think, definitely falls off. Their starting pitching is totally hurt. They're now Acuna is done for the year. I mean, they figured it out before, but these other teams, right? The Cardinals have figured things out. They got off to an awful start, and the Cardinals are right back at 500, right back in the mix. Do you think the Padres are that good?
No.
Are they? The star power is there, but do you think they're that good? And then look at the rest of these teams. How the heck is Washington as good as they are?
Right.
Arizona made the signing of Jordan Montgomery, and he's been awful. He has a 7 ERA. San Francisco, young and good, but are they a playoff team? You got a lot of teams here that got interesting stories. 2 wild cards that I would watch out for that I think buy at the deadline, and I think get better and sneak in. I think the Mets are a seller. I do. I think with the way the direction of their franchise is, with their payroll, and with the fact that you have a new GM who wants to put his own fingerprint on this team, I think the Mets are going to sell every player on the roster. Here's 2 teams that I think buy and I think make noise. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who have awesome pitching, top 3 guys at the top of the rotation that are really good, and they've got offense that's starting to figure it out. and a really good farm system, and the Chicago Cubs. And my dog clearly thinks the Cubs are going to be buyers too. The Chicago Cubs, I think, are going to be big time buyers. I actually think Pete Alonso winds up on the Chicago Cubs. I think the Cubs have a lot of moxie. They're a really good baseball team. They've had tough series, and they've had times where they've struggled to figure it out. But now that you have an ace at the top of that rotation, right? You've got other guys you got stability on that team, right? You've got a really good lineup with superstars like Dansby Swanson. I think they're right at that spot where they're about a power hitter away. I think Pete Alonso is going to be a Chicago Cub.
Interesting. Now, of course, this comes with the caveat that it's mid-June.
Yeah, this could change a lot.
This could change a lot, but right now, like how everyone always does, if the season ended now, that would be the kind of ending that you want. Like, you want teams this close, because
this would be the most dramatic ending to a season you've ever seen. Like, this would be the most chaotic ending to a baseball season you've ever seen.
Yeah, like if you had like 7 or 8 teams vying for 3 spots, like
this is like 10 teams. This is I mean, this is crazy. I don't think you'll see it like this towards the end. I think there will be teams that'll fizzle out.
Teams will fall off, of course.
But I mean, right now this is miraculous, and the fact that all these teams keep doing it is wild. My dark horses, though, I think Atlanta falls off, and again, I think the Cubs and the Pirates make moves and get a lot better.
I think the one complaint that people have with this right now, again, it's only mid-June, but the complaint that people have is that so many teams that are under 500 are in the playoff race.
Yeah. I get that.
Right, because of how the system is set up.
Especially old school traditionalist baseball fans are really going to feel that way, because they got a point, because their whole life it wasn't this way.
Right. All right, 2 quick things before we go to segment 3. Mookie Betts, broken wrist, out 6 to 8 weeks. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, say that 5 times fast. Strained rotator cuff. They say the timeline is a few weeks, whatever that means. So it could
they're gonna play that carefully. The Yamamoto one.
But that's a big loss to both.
The Mookie one is interesting, and it's devastating. I did see this point made by a lot of Yankee fans, and I think it's one of the dumber takes that I've seen all year. It was on sports radio that the Yankees should be fortunate they didn't get Yamamoto because of this injury.
No.
He's been an ace all year for them. Like, he had a little bit of a rocky start to start.
The Yankees are the reason he has that injury, though, because he was overthrowing against the Yankees to try and prove a point, and then he gets hurt.
But you know what though? He did prove that point.
I know, but then he hurt himself. What if something really bad happened?
He might have been overthrowing to prove the point, but the point was proven. He dominated the Yankees. They couldn't sniff him.
I know, but the point is, what if this was actually worse? What if, like, the triceps
But you'd know by
tightness,
now. But you would know by now. Like, if he was done for the year and he needed Tommy John, you would know by now. He's had the initial tests.
No, but I'm not saying that. What was the point he was proving? Because the Yankees tried to get him. It wasn't like he wanted to go to the Yankees and they rejected him. That I can see you wanting to prove a point and be like, I'm going to mow these guys down. So I don't understand why he even came in with that sort of attitude.
I'm assuming he got a lot of hate on social media and stuff from Yankee fans. I'm assuming there was a lot of talk about that. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened with him, but Yankee fans making the point that they're grateful they didn't get Yamamoto because look at this injury now. I mean, he's got under a 3 ERA. He's been awesome ever since his first couple of bad starts.
The only guy you should be grateful about to not get is Blake Snell because of what happened with him.
Oh, yeah. And Montgomery.
And
Montgomery. I mean, I loved Jordan Montgomery as a Yankee. I didn't think he was as good as he wound up being known for, to be honest with you, because he was good with Texas and he was good with St. Louis. But dear God, when he got hit free agency, everyone seemed to think that he was this superstar stud that you couldn't miss out on. And I think we all knew what Jordan Montgomery was. But let's call a spade a spade. Jordan Montgomery's been awful for the Diamondbacks. He's got, I think, a 7 ERA. So they actually wound up having a really good offseason, the Yankees.
They did.
Right? Like, out of the 3 guys that were free agents this offseason, guess what, Yankee fans? Stroman's been the best one.
Yeah, pretty much. There you go. All right. Yeah. Coming up in segment 3, we preview the big series between the Yankees and the Orioles. I mean, it is kind of big, but again, it's mid-June.
Locked On Yankees is sponsored by Prize Picks. We're now less than a month away from MLB's All-Star Game in Texas, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, you could take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entries today. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. How about those Aaron Judge under strikeout bets? You don't see a lot of those going around anymore. I mean, first year, guaranteed striking out all the time. Now he doesn't strike out as much. Gerrit Cole's over in strikeouts. He's back, and he strikes out a lot of guys when he pitches. So a couple of little bets that you can look at with Prize Picks. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this baseball season is the most exciting way for me to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps on your phone. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use code ONEWORD LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for a $100 first deposit match. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now, available on the free Fire TV channels app. And we tell you every day, but you got to remember that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. All you have to do is download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Stacey, biggest series of the year coming up, right?
So far,
after the Yankees played their worst series of the year in Boston, this has got to be the biggest series of the year. It is a mid-June series, midweek, but all these games are night games. And going into series against the Orioles, this is the most buzz around a Yankees-Orioles series that we've seen in a long, long, long time. Starting with Tuesday night, you get Nestor versus Albert Suarez. Suarez, newer pitcher, right? Younger pitcher. Been good so far, but hasn't been tested too much. So, we'll see what the Yankees can do to him. Nestor's 3-5 with a 3.59, but this is home Nestor. Very different in the Bronx than he is on the road.
Yeah. Although these last two turns through the rotation, it was
Not
the reverse.
Good, yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he'll get some of that home mojo. And this is a big series. A lot of people want to go to it. People are paying premium prices to get these tickets for a midweek series against the Orioles. So it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. There's going to be a lot of noise. People are going to be pumped up for this. And that might actually help the Yankees get pumped up for it. I mean, not that it wasn't loud in Boston either, but at home, it's a different feeling. And this should be fun. I think
you should have people excited for this. I mean, this should be, the crowd should be showing up for this. Yeah. Wednesday, you're going to get Gerrit Cole's season debut. The Yankees definitely, if there's one thing the Yankees have the advantage of in this series, it's that they have their pitching lineup lined up to the way they won against the Orioles, where the Orioles do not have that advantage, right? John Means out for the year, but they don't get Corbin Burns in the series, and that's huge that they're missing out on. The Yankees on Wednesday get Gerrit Cole. He's going against Cade Povich, who's 0-1 with a 4.76, and then Thursday, they get Luis Gil, who's 9-1 with a 2.03 ERA, which is crazy, going against Cole Irvin, who's been good for the Orioles, but certainly not an ace. So we'll see what the Yankees can do against these pitchers. I mean, I think you're going to have a lot of tight, close games, and you're really going to start to see where these teams line up. This should get you excited for a potential playoff series, because I think a playoff series against these two teams would be massive.
The only thing that worries me is the Cade Povich, because, 4.76 ERA, that's right in the wheelhouse for the Yankees kryptonite.
Reeks of Gerrit Cole down 2-1 going into the sixth.
Right. Like you said, no Corbin Burns, no Grayson Rodriguez. They pitched in this previous series. So that bodes well for the Yankees. But it's just, I think this is going to be a good series. I don't think the Orioles are going to beat up on the Yankees. They're not going to make them look bad like they did in that series in Camden Yards. This is a different Yankees team. They get their ace back. Aaron Judge is hitting. It's going to be different.
I agree with you. But it's a good test. It's a good barometer, right? Because the Yankees could lose this series, get swept, and then go right back to having a 3-game lead for the rest of the year in the division. That can happen. But that narrative will always exist that they weren't able to play the Orioles solid. So the Orioles won't care if they finish the year 3 games behind the Yankees.
Or the rest of the AL East. They're having
they won't care.
The AL East, yeah.
So, and then you get Toronto after this. right? And
Yeah.
Toronto is not an easy team to play. And then you get the Mets, who are playing really good baseball right now. So
The Braves, Mets, Toronto.
Braves, Mets, Toronto. But you get a lot. The Braves, I think, but they've been good. But I mean, they've got a lot of things that they're missing. You're not getting them at full strength. But regardless of all of this, you are seeing all of these teams that are really good in a good stretch going up to the All-Star break. It's the time to perform and show how good you are. You can beat up on the White Sox of the world. You can beat up on the Twins of the world. Go out and beat the best teams in baseball, and that's what they have the opportunity to do.
Yep. I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
I'm not nervous. It's a June series. If they get swept, it's at the end of the year.
Right. But I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to have to leave social media for like 3 days if they get swept, but I don't think they're going to get swept. I think this is going to be a competitive series. I think it's going to be fun. Again, playoff atmosphere in mid-June. People are going to be fired up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Orioles fans have a reason to be happy again because they have new ownership. They have a good team. They have a good farm system. They're probably going to be good till 2032. And it's going to be like, it's just going to be a good matchup and a lot of fun.
Completely
so to
agree.
review, Anthony Rizzo breaks his arm. Cool. Out 4 to 6 weeks. Gerrit Cole back. Yay. Earlier than expected. And that's just, the fact that, like we said earlier in the show, you really thought it was going to be season ending. Oh no, elbow. Oh God. And then it was not. The Yankees already have 50 wins without Gerrit Cole. So they got him back.
Oh, and I know yesterday was Minors Monday, but also update the entire minor leagues is hurt.
Yes.
Their entire minor league system is injured.
Yeah. We had talked about that yesterday, and it's unbelievable how many of those guys are actually hurt. It's kind of crazy. It's like the Yankees injury problems just trickle down to the minor leagues because we can't have nice things, can we?
Nope, not at all.
No, we can't. One more time, you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under our YouTube videos and a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions for Fan Mail Friday, or you can leave your questions for Fan Mail Friday under the pinned comment below our YouTube videos. You get top priority if you're an insider, but we'll still answer your questions on YouTube. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you tomorrow after Game 1 of the Orioles series.